leave it to a deck like Tier Elements to evolve with all of the other cool tech choices. Now make sure you guys smash the living crap out of the Undying Legion, so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. Now before you're like, did you just say the Undying Legion? What does that have to do with access to Tier Elements? So, many of you might remember a nice little guy named Pilgrim Reaper. Now, Mr. Pilgrim Reaper gives you the ability to mill some funny cards. Now, why does this matter? Because Tier Elements wants to mill. It needs to be able to find its cards to be able to do things. What are you supposed to do with the Pilgrim Reaper after it sits on the field? You're supposed to be able to do something with it. That's where the Undying Legion comes in. Now, Mr. Undying Legion says, hey, you can summon it by slapping it on top of a rank 6 zombie exceed monster control. Say no more! Thanks, Pilgrim Reaper. So not only do I get to mill 5 out of this, I get to slap this on top of it, and then during my opponent's main phase, I can detach 2 materials from this, so it'll have 1 detached. It'll have the Pilgrim Reaper and the 1 material underneath itself to make it so that I can target a attack position monster opponent controls or a monster in the graveyard and attach it to this guy as a material. And it's on a 2700, and it's just going to cost me 1 extra slot within my extra deck. Yeah, okay, sure. If this is the greatest invention that we have had in so long, I am so excited. Because honestly, at this point, seeing Tier kind of rolling around in the format, trying to be like, well, you know, where do we go from here, you know? How are we able to provide and evolve? And if this is how we have to do it, well then congratulations. I'm most happy to see that being a successful choice. So good stuff. Tier has found its way. Now there's this Runic Clown Mitsarooi deck that has been running around. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is whoever comes up with these ideas, whoever goes, you know, we're already playing Clown Mitsarooi, let's take the deck to 60 cards. There possibly can't be any downsides to cooking with this. You're truly the geniuses. You're the ones that cook with the formats. You're the ones that go, oh, well, what if the Runic cards can provide us more spot removal options, give us more abilities to, you know, control the field. And, I mean, heck, if we're shifting 20 extra cards into the deck, you know, what tools are going to be appropriate to handle things? And that's exactly what we're getting right now. We're getting tool access, controllability, and just everything else under the sun. I mean, the clown stuff, you can already do some disgustingly broken stuff with clowns. Because you've already got people that are like, well, we can bring in, you know, Wicked Avatar, Sphere Mode to board break. And then we can now go even further beyond that and use Runic cards to fuel into this. Well, the Mitsarooi stuff is spinning right round. Like, I guess this is like the modern era hodgepodge pile, where you're just looking at all of these different rekindled tools, and you're going, all right, so what is going to be the best mishmash for me? Obviously, if you don't like Runic within this deck, you don't have to play it. I think just having access to the Runic stuff can make the deck a little bit more fun. I was talking to my friend that already plays Clown Mitsarooi, and he was like, Robbie, this is devious. You know, we can actually take the deck one step further beyond and just play even more craziness. So I think that's going to be a problem. I actually can't wait. It's going to be a great time. So we have a tech choice out of the OCG. Veidos is finally rearing its ugly head again. Now, in the past, we've talked about Veidos. People just chalked it up to, you know, oh, it's not a good card because it has to target a card in the field zone. Field spells are bad. Tunes. This is the anti-tune card, people. We're finally in an era where all of these degenerate tune interactions have been going off. Right now, I mean, tunes have 2 active FTKs, a built-in OT. Like, why does this deck have so much? Why do tunes just get to do all of this incredibly broken stuff. Like, that's been the thing I've been asking myself as I look at more and more of these toon lists. But toons have become so denoted within this, you know, competitive space that they actually had to come up with a means to kind of clean this up, and that's where we're at right now. We're actually at a spot where Veidos provides you a spot removal option to take care of toon problems. Congratulations, everybody. You've lived long enough to watch toons borderline on tier 1 and forcing players to actually have to make concessions in order to handle this. Can't say that was on my bingo sheet for 2026, but, you know, considering this deck is just able to do so much, Konami really designed toons and said, yeah, letting this deck have all of this access and making the field spell be multi-use was not something that I think a lot of us had initially convinced ourselves was going to be viable. Alright, well, what about Gordian Slicer? You guys have heard me talk a lot about this. So right now, Gordian Slicer has been showing up a lot in side deck choices. And I think a lot of this has to do with just how Gordian Slicer is worded. Because right now, Solemn Accusation is running around in the format. Solemn Accusation is a very, 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 very annoying card that is going to ruin, you know, your Spell and Traps days. But that's where Gordian Slicer comes in, because Slicer cannot be negated, period. Alright, you can't negate its activation, you can't do anything. And it's going to provide you with a source of cutting through multiple cards that the opponent has. Now, obviously, this card gets kind of pricey, though. Either you're sacrificing 6 out of your extra deck to slice up multiple cards, or, you know, you're going from the hand. Obviously, I guess skewing 2 from the hand and still being able to do full combo is not terrible. Also, nobody talks about the fact that Gordian Slicer can actually slice through face-up spells and traps on the field. Because this thing is able to bounce anything. Alright, like, who had that one on their bingo sheet? It wasn't me, actually, and I really do appreciate that. I like that suddenly, you know, you're getting so much good access and so much good value out of these cards. Like, this is modern era Yu-Gi-Oh! In a nutshell, people. You're able to provide yourself with just good coverage. And obviously, the counterplay to the existing spell and trap negates is very, very good. This is what we needed to be looking for. We needed to be looking for cards that are able to provide immediate good, you know, solutions to problems. And I think we've got that. I think we've got our solution finders right now. So, not actually doing too bad on that front. And then Gravekeeper's Watcher has been on the uptick a lot more. First of all, good stuff. Also, domain format. Gravekeeper's Watcher stopping branded in high spirits right now is some of the funniest Yu-Gi-Oh! I think I've seen, man. You're telling me that we can just toss this card at a counterplay, and then of course when Mind Shuffle comes out, we'll be able to counterplay that. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on right now. We've reached the point that having a simple interaction like this is now worth way more than we kind of had expected it to. And gosh darn it, I'm happy about that. I'm happy that Gravekeeper's Watcher, after all of these years, we have active discard effects on resolution that are places that can be stopped now, and we can actually have good uses for them. That wasn't initially on my bingo sheet either. Right now, tech trends are very, very, very important. There's a lot of problematic things that are developing. There's also a lot of cool things that it's allowing decks to, you know, come back into the spotlight. I mean, like, Undying Legion was not something that I expected to see a development into tier elements of all things. I literally forgot Pilgrim Reaper was a zombie monster. And now suddenly, this guy is actually, you know, useful. I mean, Pilgrim Reaper was useful before, but milling 5 and then getting an interruption on top of it? Yeah, man, I like that. And of course, Runic is very, very nefarious, but you know, we're not here to look at that. So what do you guys think about these cool things? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys.
Patrons!
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.